Okay, so it seems like recently there's been a little bit of an update on the entire Sykkuno situation. Now, if you don't know where this all started, it essentially started from a VTuber named hemomalvt, who essentially made a Google Doc on Sykkuno, claiming that he'd done a ton of, terrible things, including obviously cheating on his long-term girlfriend, which obviously, they had kind of put out a response and things to Sykkuno on his main chat, on his main kind of page here, saying a message from me and my girlfriend. And obviously then he was saying that, he basically did cheat on his girlfriend and that they were working through it. Apparently it happened like multiple times as well, but this wasn't the first time it had happened. And it's like, okay, well, this is kind of a little bit weird. But obviously a lot of people have been very mixed in terms of the response, in terms of what they think about the entire Sykkuno situation, which I think is very interesting. But recently, there's been a new clip that has been going pretty, viral at the moment, in terms of, some of his friends and what they've been saying about how he's been acting, because I do think it is pretty interesting, right? And this comes from Bloom. There's a Disguised Toast says he thought everyone knew Sykkuno was playing up a shy anime persona. So this is the clip. Let's just play it, and then we'll talk about it.
I just thought everyone knew that shy anime boys didn't exist in the real world. I thought we were all in on this kind of persona he was putting forth. So for me, it wasn't super shocking. It wasn't like finding out Mr. Rogers was drug smoking, drinking guy. It was just like, oh, I mean, he's not actually a shy anime boy. Like that clip that's going around. It's kind of like me acknowledging the fact that, like, guys, we know he's not a shy anime boy, right? He's a 30-year-old man. This is like a persona thing.
Well, yes and no, but I felt like he did do that even around us. Like, he had the time where I felt like he wasn't who he made himself up to be in the public was when he talked about money or like other things here and there, but he would still say stuff like, "Oh, I don't talk to you think I talk to girls," and like all this stuff.
Yeah, maybe this is like a guy versus girl view. So I think a lot of guys just maybe didn't buy Sykkuno's act, or just think like I did. It's like we're all in. I thought we were all in on a joke. But to be fair, in the past, where any one of us would push back against that persona publicly, his fans would get really upset at us, like, quote unquote, bullying him. And I lost count amount of times I had to yell at his fans or be yelled at by his fans because I was treating him like an adult.
So yeah, that was the entire clip there. Obviously, two friends of maybe former friends now of Sykkuno, being Disguised Toast and Yvonne. Essentially, yeah, they have some very like different kind of opinions of it. Obviously, Disguised Toast was like, I thought everybody knew that this was an act, like this was not his persona, because one of the big things that came out of the Sykkuno situation wasn't just like the cheating and all this kind of stuff. It was the fact that his personality was a lot different to what he was kind of putting out on stream, right? A lot of his stream personality would be, yeah, like this shy anime boy thing that was going on, right? That would be his entire thing, and that's how he got so popular, right? But that wasn't his actual personality. That was obviously just to, kind of, I guess, attract people to his stream, right? And that's just kind of what he wanted to do. But obviously, Disguised Toast said, I thought, we all knew that it was a bit and everything like that. But then obviously Yvonne says that apparently, he would do it even around them, like off stream, like away from content, right? It wasn't like this thing where he would, kind of end stream and then go, and then like kind of revert into normal mode and, speak like a normal adult or whatever. Apparently he would still do it even like offline and around them, right? And I think it is pretty interesting, right? It really says a lot, really, about how much his friends knew about what was really going on. And again, I do think it is pretty interesting, right? Because there's been a lot of people kind of commenting on this, saying, you're not gonna lie, I thought every non-fan was on the same page. Which again, I think a lot of people who weren't fans of Sykkuno kind of thought like, hey, yeah, this is 100% a bit, because again, this dude is like 30 years old and he's doing this like shy anime boy thing. It is pretty, it's pretty obvious that he definitely has some kind of life outside of this kind of persona, where he doesn't act like this, right? Because then the industry is built on personas, so I don't get why this is even a debate. Toast shouldn't be getting heat for acknowledging that his friend is an adult with a business mind. It's not an insult, it's just how the streaming game works. Which, yeah, I think it's also kind of fair enough as well, right? I think that 100%, You know, if he wants to do that stuff for, you know, for business purposes and whatever, that's totally fine. But obviously, it is pretty funny whenever, you know, you get exposed for cheating and all of this kind of stuff, you know, which is obviously the exact opposite of the shy anime boy persona. And not even just the cheating, by the way, just like the kind of being a player kind of thing, you know, obviously him talking to multiple women. Clearly, he's not that shy anime boy whenever he does that. Whether you think that's wrong or right that he was doing that while he was with his girlfriend or whatever, obviously I think it's wrong. But you know, obviously there's been many people out there saying, "Oh, he's just a player" or whatever. You know, I definitely do think, even no matter what you think about it, it definitely does provide a big contrast to the persona that he's put out, because he's gone from, oh, you know, I don't really talk to girls, to he's talking to like every single like small VTuber and everything, every single small creator that is posting on Twitter, which I thought was quite funny, right? Because it is the exact opposite. And obviously, yeah, some of you said, don't ever talk it, I should have untaken him again. That I don't know. I low-key think that that's just Sykkuno's genuine personality. Like, why does Toast think that Sykkuno is fake and Lily's is just genuine? Which again, I don't know. I don't know if he's ever commented on Lily's personality or not, and whether it's kind of, you know, genuine or not. So honestly, they got a point. He is 30, so why are we mad that he's acting like how an adult would? Yeah, he didn't commit a crime, which again, you know, I think is, you know, he never did actually commit a crime as far as we know, in terms of, you know, there was some pretty heavy allegations that went out against him, but a lot of that, I think people were trying to, people said it was false, right? But from the ones that we know of, a lot of it hasn't been illegal, right? You know, he hasn't done anything illegal, but he definitely has done stuff to be like, yeah, no, I don't really like you, right? I think there's a difference between like, oh, he hasn't done anything illegal, to, oh, you've done something that I definitely do not like and don't really want to interact with you anymore, right? And I think that's fine, because again, there is definitely stuff that you can do that isn't illegal, but can still, you know, kind of mess up your public image, or still mess up how people perceive you, because it kind of says a lot about your character, right? Including obviously cheating. So yeah, I mean, it is pretty interesting, but this clip has been going pretty viral at the moment. Obviously, as I said, it came out yesterday. It's on 1.7 million views. It's pretty insane how many people have been talking about it lately. But yeah, obviously it's been pretty quiet in terms of the Sykkuno stuff ever since the response, and ever since the Mugen response. If you guys remember, obviously Mugen made a video responding to a lot of the backlash and stuff that he was getting from his video. You know, obviously we got a couple of videos covering that, so if you guys want to go back and look at that, I definitely recommend doing it. But you know, of course, there's that kind of stuff. Hemomalvt, you know, as well. It just seems like they're posting like normal. They're just kind of, you know, ignoring everything that's going on now. And yeah, that genuinely just seems to be it, right? Same with Bao as well. You guys wanted to know about Bao quite a lot, and you guys were pretty interested in Bao and her involvement in the situation, which again, I do think she, you know, obviously tried to explain a lot of her point on stream, which we covered as well in other videos. If you guys wanted to go watch that one, I definitely recommend doing that too. But since then, it seems like she has done a couple of other like streams and stuff. She did like a Nikkei sponsor, I think, the other day. So, you know, she's kind of just, yeah, moving on from that as well. But it seems like everybody has kind of just moved on from this topic now, apart from obviously maybe some of his friends who are obviously mainly affected by it, because let's be real, I do think that the main people affected is obviously Sykkuno's girlfriend and obviously the friends that he was close with, right? And that's about it, right? I don't think that a lot of the random people on Twitter, you know, are obviously, you know, a part of it, right? But yeah, I mean, that is essentially all there is for the situation. I just kind of wanted to keep you guys up to date with what was going on, because I did think it was pretty interesting. But yeah, that's about all I got for this video. If you guys did enjoy it, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe. Also, go to GameSubs, use my code Kazza, get 10% off. Again, they've got a ton of really cool stuff over there. Definitely recommend checking it out. And yeah, see you guys in the next one. That's all. See ya.